Welcome back, Yah Royal Family. Family, just can't make this up. We just can't. It's a teacher which is now on leave for asking students to set your price for a slave. This coming from Blades Elementary School. Angela Walker is the mother. She went through her son's book bag and found a project that he was working on was questions in regards of owning slaves. So it says a social study assignment from Blades Elementary School in Oaksville, Missouri, had asked some students, including her biracial son, to imagine that they work in the slave trade. Then it prompted them to set a price for a slave. You own a plantation or a farm and therefore need more workers. You begin to get involved in the slave trade industry and have slaves work on your farm. Your product to trade is slaves. Set your price for a slave. These could be worth a lot. You may trade for any item you like. One of the questions in the exercise read. So look here. It says set your price for a slave. What? That question was one amount 12 that school principal Jerry Booker said attempt to address market prices. Other question asked students to set a price for items such as a bushel of grain, a piece of lumber, and a jug of milk. At the end of the exercise, students were asked to reflect on a free market economy, whether they considered themselves wealthy given the money and items they had left over. As part of both the Missouri Learning Standards for fifth grade social studies and fifth grade with Mayville School District. So this is a moment, family, that I would strongly suggest that make sure that you check in closely with your kids and seeing what they have, because I just read over an article where different maternity wards are closing down because they don't have enough people in their cities or counties to have babies, and they're losing out on a lot when it comes down to the different people. They already see that the majority in the schools are the brown, and they say black people. It's not the white people. So, I'm like a little lost for words. I mean, oh my goodness. So is it something that they're trying to say, well, could this be lined up with Jacob's trouble? That they're preparing their students to think beyond what they probably have thought before? And how many other how many other teachers have done this, are doing this around the world? Like I said, they got hidden factors that, they're doing things and planning things along the way. And that's why you can't, in this day and time, not trust and believe in the Almighty for all things, because, they're just wicked people out here, period. Some students who participated in this assignment were were prompt to consider how plantation owners traded for goods and slaves. So, of course, it was cultural, insensitive. But, so she just got on leave, and it's probably with pay because they're investigating it. But how many other teachers? Craziness. So this is asking a student to participate in a simulated activity that puts a price on a person is not acceptable. Of course it's not. Racism of any kind, even inadvertently stemming from cultural bias, is wrong and is not who we aspire to be as a school district. So really the truth is that how high that go in that lineup. Who are the other, teachers who's teaching that possibly can be teaching this? Where it goes up to the level of the principal and to the school board. So it's time for families, our Israelite family, start talking to these parents. You go to school, pick up your kids, you out the door, in your car gone, or you drop your kids off back in your car gone, to work. It's time for you to start having conversation just to touch bases because we are living in some times like never before. So it says here the NAACP hopes to meet with the school officials. Hopes? Oh no, you need to be meeting. So Walker, who is a teacher herself, told CNN that there was no value in playing a game about slavery. We have to be more culturally sensitive. We do. We can say to get over homework assignments. It's just homework assignment. That was 100 years ago, she told Kim, KMOV. Yes, it was, but it's still someone else's family. Maybe there are people who don't see the wrong in it. We need to be talking about it. So what I see, family, is that, the Bible has been around for thousands of years. There are ones who have studied and know our history, know who we are, who have been tiptoeing around us all these many years. And this awakening, they see us waking up. But just like the Almighty have a point in time, you better believe they're going to try to have a point in time. They're going to try to beat the Almighty, to what is what. So I can, only strongly suggest that, be in close as far as communication with your children, check with the school, check with other parents just to see what's on the radar. What is what, because just because your child not in that class, it could be in another class that's doing something else, and their agenda is to mind play. And she didn't say whether it was other black students or brown students were in the class, but he was biracial. So who's to say what is what? So I don't know what the demographic and, who's who and what is what there. I haven't checked into that. But that's something that, family, I just, say this ain't the time. For those who haven't repent, get close with your creator, get to know his ins and out, and keep these commandments, family. Let him lead and guide you, that you'll be able to guide your kids. Pray that the Ruach not only on you, but on your kids. And this is just a conversation that needs to be had, because who's to say? It could have been other things that have happened, or other things would have happened. And for the teacher to say, well, she feel terrible about it. Well, what is there? What type of, game, or what type of all the things you could have chose to do a project on or ask questions, you going to pick that? You that comfortable? Speaks volume, family. Blessings unto you all. Shalom, family. Have a great rest of your day. Shalom.